Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Boys, welcome to the channel. I'm here to give you the right take on Mark Kern, aka Grummz, and the latest controversy with him. Hopefully this video will be under 30 minutes. If you have no idea who or what I'm talking about, I will do a brief introduction now. If you don't know who Mark Kern is, he was a developer who worked at Blizzard. I have not played any of these games, but he was involved with StarCraft, Diablo 2, World of Warcraft. After that, he co-founded a company called Red 5. They worked on this MMO Firefall. He was forced out of that company in 2013, and then in, I believe it's 2016, he started crowdfunding this independent game called, I think it's like Ember, but it's a play on that. The B is an 8. And in these 8 years of development, he has produced only a demo. I've even seen the recent demo, and I'll have some footage, some of that demo gameplay going on in the background at a certain point, and it looks really like an asset flip, just kind of crap Firefall. It seemed like some people liked it, but it was shut down, and I believe it was like mixed received. Like some people did seem to enjoy it, but this game, Ember, has been in development for 8 years. All there is to show for it is this demo, and they have raised at least $600,000 for it. And this is it. And it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Firefall. But why are we making this video on Mark Kern? What's the big deal with this guy? Okay, so he has a crowdfund scam game. Why is that a big deal? Well, lately, there's been some drama, and I'll have some of this up on the screen, but some leftist kind of breadtuber types put out a video because they had done some looking into Mark Kern, Grummz, and they found some rather interesting and disturbing stuff. There was some stuff that they found about him potentially like avoiding properly filing taxes for his game and funneling money into a variety of projects. They also found some porn accounts linked to him, and yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a moment, but some people on the right, because we're cheerleading for culture war crap, are trying to hand wave a lot of this shit away and say it's not really a big deal and mostly vanilla and normal. It is most assuredly not, and anyone claiming that it's basically a nothing burger is a fucking liar. But I'll get into that in a moment. I've seen some takes online that I do believe suck, and I'm not trying to be a crab in a bucket right now, but one video that I ended up seeing today that made me decide I wanted to make this video was from What the Egad, and I did not agree with his takes in the video about the situation, and I thought overall it was a bad video.
I confess myself disappointed.
Basically, in What the Egad's video, and I will have that link down below, and he's made videos, I've enjoyed them, but for this, essentially it's all the controversy around Grummz is not a big deal. Also, Grummz is based in cool because he triggers the libs. Triggering the libs is really cool and awesome. Therefore, any of the controversy or bullshit around Grummz doesn't matter because we own the libs, and that's what matters in the culture war. I really hated that. I really did not like his video, so I wanted to make this video. Also, the channel that put out the video on Grummz and did a lot of the research and investigation, Millip, I will link them down below. I think their video also sucks. He has bad audio, there's some buzzing in the background, the message constantly saying that he's a better person than Grummz, which, to be fair, the vast majority of people on the planet are better people than Grummz, so I'm not going to disparage him too much, but I believe the leftist video is also crap. And the leftist video, at the very least, revealed a lot of interesting information. And just Egad in this video ran super hard defense, a lot of sweeping for Grummz, and for some reason downplayed and left out lots of little details which are very significant and make the situation a lot worse than some people are trying to present. So I just wanted to rant about all this. I'm going to be covering Mark Kern a bit, his game, the latest controversy, and the weird sex stuff that's come up. I'm also going to be sort of talking about owning the libs and how important that is, sexiness in video games, my opinion on Mark Kern, and is he worth defending at all, and should the right really try to die on this hill here? Absolutely not. So right now on the screen, you're going to see some screenshots. These are from Kiwi Farms, the Grummz thread. You can check that out for yourself if so inclined. I would recommend doing your own research and not just taking my word for it, right? But I don't like Grummz. I've never liked Grummz. Months ago, I made a video on like Gamergate 2. I mentioned there I didn't like Grummz. I still don't like Grummz. And all this shit leaking out is very bizarre. So what did our little breadtuber friends find? Well, they found that Grummz has had some porn accounts for over like 20 years, and he really likes to commission and also write and create lesbian wrestling porn. Now, on the surface, you might be saying, white pill media, a guy commissioning lesbian porn. It really doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. It's like, okay, all right, hang on, whoa, let me get to it, pal, let me get there. First off, a little detail that what the EGAD left out. So, another thing you might bring up is, look, Grummz has always claimed to be anti-woke, he's never claimed to be trad. True, fine, that's not what I'm attacking him for. He's always presented himself as a kind of pervert, and a guy that just wants to post like sexy video game stuff. That's fine. I'm not attacking him for that or like being a hypocrite, quote unquote. He's not being a hypocrite. This is who he is. A name that he used in making these accounts and doing this fetish stuff, Pretty Little Girl 16. I'm asking you at face value, forget all the culture war bullshit. Someone on a porn site, Pretty Little Girl 16, do you think that there's something more going on? Do you think that we're kind of at the tip of an iceberg and there's going to be some really nasty shit if you do a little more digging? Just the amount of sweeping and coping and bullshit from the right on this. You got a guy who has been making porn like this for over 20 years. It's not normal. I'm going to have some screenshots. I did not look or read through everything because I just don't really love graphic material and such, and I didn't want to look. So keep in mind, there's going to be some graphic text, and these are screenshots from stuff that Grummz has created. A lot of his stuff seems to rely on like two women are fighting and they are beating the shit out of each other, and they also then like have sex, but one of them kind of dominates the other. It's not just like, oh, it's just like lesbian wrestling porn and then they're making out and having sex like some people are trying to sweep. It is porn like there's rape, like there's genital mutilation. He has his self-insert. He has a self-insert. His self-insert character is a woman, and he has his self-insert, and some of these stories get raped by other women. A lot of these stories center on hurting a woman and also on humiliation. This isn't normal. This isn't like just normal guy wants to like watch two hot chicks make out. This is absolutely not what it fucking is. Also, little thing that what the EGAD just forgot to mention, but I'll mention it here, is that in one of the stories, he has his self-insert character, a woman, assault and I believe rape another female character. That female character is named after his ex-wife. That's very deliberate, and that's a very disturbing insight, and it's not fucking normal. Holy shit. And I'll post this screenshot here of people on X going like ... So I don't like trannies. I think trannies are weird sex pests and freaks and such. I can also hate Grummz for being a weird sex pest, but I'm sorry, I don't want to defend the guy who goes by Pretty Little Girl 16. That's not normal. That's not okay. And none of this shit is okay, and none of this shit is worth defending. This is fucking sick. So that's essentially what the controversy and the porn stuff is. There's some stuff about him also funneling money, but just the sex stuff has been really downplayed, with people just saying, oh, it's just like vanilla, lesbians, they wrestle and then, they're just having sex. Like, that's not it. It's like genital mutilation and such, and it's also naming a character after your ex-wife and then abusing said character. Mark Kern, for like 20 years, has been writing these fanfics, these sexual stories with his self-insert, a female character being like raping and also being raped by women and such. I'm just pointing this out. If a guy for 20 years was writing a lot of homosexual stories and he has a self-insert in these stories that engages in homosexual acts with men, would we then call that guy gay? I think we absolutely would call that guy gay. I'm saying it here, I'm saying it now. Mark Kern is a fucking tranny. You have a female self-insert. That's one that automatically makes you a tranny. You are role-playing as a woman in these sexual scenarios. You are a tranny. The right now is supporting a tranny to own the libs. That's how fucking retarded all this shit is. This is how fucking pathetic and insane this crap is. So yes, Mark Kern is a tranny. Anyone saying otherwise is coping and seething and dilating like their good friend Mark Kern. You don't have an online persona like that for 20 years and not be a fucking tranny. Fuck off. So on to Mark Kern as a game developer. Let's put some big air quotes around there. He was a part of the teams that made StarCraft, Diablo 2, and World of Warcraft. I have never played these games, but from what I know, these games are really well respected and people enjoy them. Mark Kern was just a part of the teams, quote unquote. Like, what exactly does that mean? I don't think he really had much, if any, involvement in these games, like on the ground, being super involved in the development of them. It seems like bullshit. And why am I calling that bullshit? Because his only two other projects, being Firefall, was a failure. He was kicked out of the company. If he was doing a really good job, he probably wouldn't have been kicked out of the company. Then, after this, we have which has been going on for 8 years, and all we have is a asset flip demo, and this is him on his own, right? This is Mark's personal project, and there's not too much to show. Earlier in his career, he's a part of teams that worked on some great games, but frankly, it seems like he's more of a part of like a World Series winning baseball team. Like, he's a bench warmer that's on that team, so he can claim that, well, I was a part of the teams that put out these great games. I was with those guys that won the World Series. It's like, oh, well, what role did you play? Well, I was physically present. I was on the bench. I feel like if he was this great, super amazing talent, then that would have transferred over into making his own game, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Like, if you were a musician and you were a part of this really good band and you gained all this respect and had this great reputation, but then when you go do a solo act, you are just complete shit. Like, there's no redeeming qualities about you whatsoever. You could make the argument that maybe being in that specific band with those band members is, you were greater than the sum of your parts. But still, if you're a talented musician, even if you're on your own, maybe you're not producing your best work, but there would be some measure of talent there, right? And people would see that talent. There is no talent in this demo for this game. There's nothing there. There's never going to be a fucking game. If you took away the culture war, the politics, and you just said, here, look at this. We have this game developer. They've been developing this game for 8 years. They've raised over $600,000 for this. And there is no game. Again, no politics, no culture. This is just a blank developer. Would you like or dislike this? And if you say like, well, I would like it. No. You would dislike it. You're just, anyone who says that they would like it and they just wouldn't immediately dislike that person or that project is full of shit. Fuck you. But because Mark Kern's is quote unquote anti-woke and he puts the red shirt on instead of putting on the blue shirt, therefore his behavior as a developer quote unquote is fine. I don't know if we can really call him a developer. I guess technically Firefall did launch and it was a playable game, but how involved with that was he truly? For Emmer, well, the game hasn't been developed, so can we really say that he's a developer? Next section I want to cover, it's not hard or impressive to own the libs, and we really need a higher bar on this side of things. Do you want to own the libs? I don't want to own the libs. I want to kill them. Let's kill the libs. I want to take right-wing culture and shove it down their throats and have them choke on it. I am tired of owning the fucking libs. It's gay, it's retarded, it doesn't do anything for us or our people. How do we own the libs exactly? We own the libs by not making games and posting on X. This is pathetic, circling the wagons for an obese, lying, grifting, porn addict that LARPs as a woman online and is a tranny and he doesn't make games. That's what we're circling the wagons for. That's what we're defending against the woke mind virus. The bar has never been lower. The bar has never been fucking lower. He owns the libs, therefore I support him. That's so fucking retarded. Is Ian Miles Chong based? He owns the libs, so he's our friend, right? He's based. He owns the libs, so he's worth defending. Do you know we don't have to defend every piece of shit that the left hates? We just don't. J.K. Rowling is a far leftist in every category except on the tranny issue. She triggers the libs. She owns the libs because she doesn't like trannies. Is J.K. Rowling our girl? Should we support her even though she's a leftist in every other capacity, but she owns the libs, therefore she's on our side? That's fucking retarded. It's so retarded. And another thing about just owning the libs. Grummz isn't cool. Like Ian Miles Chong is not cool. He's a loser. I didn't know this. I didn't know he was this old. He is 57 years old and he owns the libs on X. I don't want to do that when I'm 57. When I'm 57, I'd like to be on a farm with my family and have an apple orchard and grow some grapes and be doing anything else. Like, I don't know, maybe developing a video game, but literally anything else than posting as much as he posts on X to own the libs. That's pathetic, and you should kill yourself. If all you have to look forward to in life is owning the libs, you really need to kill yourself. And I'm not talking about in Minecraft, I mean in real life. Speaking of someone else who owns the libs and who I love and is our friend, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro owns the libs. Is Ben Shapiro my buddy? He's not my buddy. Is Ben Shapiro this great voice for the right wing and the anti-woke crowd because all that matters is owning the libs? Therefore, we shouldn't judge him for any of his other opinions or beliefs or actions because he owns the libs. Therefore, forget everything else, just have the memory of a goldfish. But White Pill, Ben Shapiro doesn't make games. That's not a good comparison to Mark Kern. But Mark Kern also does not make games. What the fuck are we defending by circling the wagons for Grummz? He's not a game developer. He hasn't made a game, but it triggers liberals, so therefore somehow we're winning, I guess. It's so bizarre, and some people on the right are trying to spin this as some type of win, as a nothing burger. It's sort of like Signalgate. I'll briefly talk about Signalgate, but this isn't a win. This isn't 5D chess. The Trump administration just looked incompetent, and it was embarrassing. This is also highly embarrassing, not just for the game and that people defend Grummz, but also the porn stuff probably is the tip of an iceberg, and I strongly suspect that there's a lot worse shit that just hasn't been found yet. Pretty Little Girl 16. I wonder what else we might find. A little bit about what the EGAD's video. Frankly, his video is just cope. I hated it. I hated it very, very much. Claims that there's nothing of real substance in the leftist guy's video. I agree. The leftist video is crap. The information is still really good. The little detail about how disturbing and bizarre some of Grummz's sexual stories are. Having a tranny self-insert character. Yes, if you're writing self-insert characters as a woman, you're a tranny. You just are. The focus on female abuse and harming them. The Pretty Little Girl 16. Really, EGAD? Really? You, me, and every motherfucker would jump on a leftist. If a leftist came out with all this shit, we would call them a porn addict tranny that wants to abuse women and has a lot of disturbing sexual fantasies about that. We absolutely would attack a leftist for this exact same shit, but magically, because Grummz is anti-woke, quote unquote, because he's wearing the right color shirt, now it's magically a nothing burger. That's such horseshit. I don't understand how this is owning the libs. How are libs mad about Mark Kern's game, his lack of game? If anything, Mark Kern has wasted $600,000 of the anti-woke crowd's money and has not produced a game. This is bad for the anti-woke crowd. This is not a loss for leftists. There's no game, right? This is Gamergate 2. There's no fucking game. How are libs mad about that? We're on the side that didn't get a game produced. We're the ones who are supporting a grifting, lying piece of shit that doesn't make video games. How is supporting and defending dishonest pieces of shit helping right-wing art? It doesn't. It simply doesn't. Comicsgate, another little thing I'll talk about is Comicsgate, but if you know about that at all, it was similar in some ways to Gamergate, but some conservative voices in the comic book industry, they decided to strike it on their own, make independent projects. They would use crowdfunding for it. Some of the people involved in Comicsgate were decent, hardworking people that sold and delivered their comics on time, and they're totally fine. I think the most successful one of that group that eventually split off from Comicsgate because it's such a shit show was Common America and Iconic Comics. But the vast majority of people in Comicsgate simply never finished and delivered their comics. They would charge huge amounts of money for a very small amount of pages and delay. Ethan Van Sciver, the purported king of Comicsgate, is perhaps the worst of them all, and he's a lot like Grummz in that people like to attribute him being anti-woke. Therefore, all of his very bad actions and him being a dishonest, worthless piece of shit is totally fine because he triggers the libs. Very gay. Super fucking gay. But yes, we are in fact defending a man who pretended to be a girl on a porn site. We're winning. We're owning the libs. If Act Man did this, if all of this shit came out about Act Man, and Act Man was also trying to grift off leftists and raise a bunch of money to make a anti-chud video game, but he was actually using his anti-chud game money to fuel his porn addiction, we would mock it. Like if he was making Super Woke Brothers and it's a 2D platformer where you stomp on chuds' heads and you perform gender affirming care on children, and then he stole the money to buy a bunch of plastic bags to melt down in a frying pan to make Shine in HRT. It would be funny. We would laugh, but suddenly we're not allowed to laugh at this guy because he's wearing the correct colored shirt. But a lot of people on the culture war and all this bullshit, suddenly, well, this isn't a good target. Fuck that. This is funny, but it's also not funny and gross and disturbing. So I'm a little mixed between funny and this is disturbing. There's probably a lot worse shit that hasn't been found yet. We wouldn't treat this as a nothing burger if it was anyone else. Just saying. We are winning by defending a guy who is making a scam game to take money from people who don't like the game industry. The whole Gamergate 2, the anti-woke crowd, and, we're sticking it to the man and the game industry, which doesn't represent or support us. Having Grummz in this movement and defending him and propping him up because he owns the libs objectively makes our side worse. He's not a good person, not a good actor. He's a scam artist, and defending him just because he pisses off the libs is a loser mentality that is actively harming us. If the anti-woke crowd really gave a shit, and they really don't, they would call Kern and his non-game out, but they don't. They don't. EGAT also in his video kept saying that I like Grummz even more after certain parts. I like Grummz even less. I didn't like him because he was a scam artist before, and after all this shit, I like him even less. Also, he says at the end of his video that we, meaning the anti-woke crowd, own the narrative. I don't really see how, the narrative being that Grummz is a lying faggot that has not produced a video game. That's the narrative. I don't want to own that narrative. I don't want to own Mark Kern. I don't want him near me or anything that I'm a part of or around. I don't want to own this shit. This is not our guy. We should not defend this guy. We shouldn't die on this fucking hill. So I had another quick little topic, but there's been this debate about sexiness in video games and sexy women. Grummz, of course, is a guy that likes to post a lot of video game porn, and based on what has been discovered about him, he's a porn addict, go figure. And him and his crowd often prop up very mediocre games because it has sexy women and jiggle physics. And my opinion, my take on this is, I like video games. I like good-looking women. I like sexy-looking women. Having a mediocre video game with sexy women is a shit video game, and it's not worth my fucking time to play. This is not a video game, but the Conan the Barbarian movie with Arnold is fantastic. It's one of the greatest movies ever. You have wonderful characters and cinematography and a great plot and acting. So many different gears all turn, and it makes this wonderful, amazing viewing experience. It's truly exceptional. Is there some sexiness in Conan the Barbarian? Yes, there is. There's some naked women, and it's sexy, and it's good, and it adds to the film and the atmosphere, and it completely works. I think something would be lost if you removed that sex appeal aspect. There are also a lot of very mediocre, very cheaply made movies that are basically women in chainmail bikini, in this very low budget, crappy fantasy movie. And back then, it was a bigger deal to see a woman show a lot of cleavage, and maybe she gets naked and such at certain scenes in the film. But if we were comparing, Conan's a fantasy movie, and there's sexy women in there, and then worthless, generic fantasy movie, but there's also tits every now and then. One has a lasting impact, the other does not. Do you see what I mean? Sexiness isn't the be-all, end-all here. Sexy games aren't going to save shit. They don't save the game industry. They don't do anything. They're not good games. If you have good games and also sexy, attractive characters and such, then yeah, those can be good games. Those can definitely be good games. An example, Halo, right? Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and then you had Halo 4. There is an evolution to Cortana throughout these 4 games. In Halo 4, Cortana, she's upgraded herself. She has some large breasts. Yes, is Halo 4 a good game because Cortana has the largest boobs out of all the Halo games? No. Halo 4 was a really bad game. Not just for Halo, but just games overall. It was not very good. It was kind of shit. So this idea of just put sexiness in, therefore it's a good game, also retarded. Are Cortana's boobs nice in Halo 4? Yes, Cortana's boobs are in fact nice in Halo 4. Does Halo 4 also suck? Yes, Halo 4 also sucks. There's one game that they try to hype up, Stellar Blade. I did not play it. None of my friends played it. but from what I saw online, it seemed like it was a relatively mediocre game. It was lukewarm, like, yeah, maybe if you like that type of game, you would play it and then probably never talk about it again because there really just wasn't much there. And okay, it had sexy female characters and it wasn't a good game. Like just having, if you don't care about like a good game, like a game being fun and interesting and captivating, and you just want to see like sexy female characters, then yes, I do agree. Perhaps you would have a better time looking at porn if you don't care about the game part of the video game, right? It's just like disappointed with some of the reactions and stuff online, like ... this shit doesn't matter. This is a nothing burger. Closing thoughts. Grummz is not a victim, just like he's not a game developer. And if it doesn't bother you that he's a dishonest, scamming piece of shit, then just fuck off. If all that matters is making the libs mad, then this is some really gay culture war shit. And I can't really fathom it that people are just completely willing to overlook this and downplay this because this guy vaguely has some of our values. And even though we know he's a scam artist, well, he still makes liberals mad online. Therefore, he's our buddy. Therefore, we have to defend him. It's so retarded. I'm incredibly tired of owning the libs. And if this was a serious and legitimate movement, which it's not, it absolutely is not, grifters like this would have been run out a long time ago. The fact that there are people that want this guy to represent them and gamers is embarrassing. It's humiliating. And guess what? Leftists posting in the comment sections on some of these videos about, hey, at least the woke games get made, they're 100% correct. Those very crappy leftist propaganda piece of shit games do exist and you can purchase them. That is infinitely better than just stealing people's money and never producing a game. Because at least in that scenario, your gay leftist can actually buy a game that they want and play it and enjoy it. So our people are just crying and seething and shitting their pants, but at least the liberals got owned, I guess, even though they didn't, they won. They have produced woke games. Grummz did not produce his anti-woke sexy game. It doesn't fucking exist. It will never fucking exist. A sexy asset flip demo isn't good enough after 8 years, and owning the libs simply isn't good enough. Like, that's it. That's it. Just trigger the libtards, and then somehow we won. Somehow we've created right-wing video games, and yeah, and now we're on top magically. We've retaken the video game industry. Fucking how? This is so pathetic. This is so... All you've done is make it more difficult for legitimate creators, be they artists, musicians, video game developers, writers, whoever, any creative on the right wing, to be taken seriously or legitimately because you're supporting and defending a guy who's an obvious fucking scammer. So people overall are going to be less inclined and less willing to donate or to support or fund projects, right? Like, yes. By supporting Grummz, this actively lowers consumer trust. Like, again, Comicsgate, not all those people over there were bad people. Some of them did make products and deliver them on time. But being associated with Comicsgate became toxic over time because no one cast out the grifters and the bad actors, and they ended up taking it over, and that was just the end. Comicsgate didn't defeat the comic book industry. It did not create an alternative to the comic book industry. It failed. It utterly, completely failed. And by the way, it wasn't the leftists that defeated Comicsgate. Comicsgate defeated itself. If we're being honest, if we're being fair, it defeated itself. And I think the same exact thing is going to happen with Gamergate 2 if it hasn't already happened. I want right-wing culture and right-wing art to survive and to thrive and to defeat the leftists. I do. Let's kill the libs. Let's fucking kill the libs. But let's not own them. Let's not do bullshit faggot culture war crap on X, which doesn't move the needle. It doesn't do anything. Let's actually support right-wing creatives and people that are trying and people that are worth defending, not fucking Grummz. Some people, I'll promote at the end. I'll have their links below. You can check out their videos if interested. But some music that I've been listening to lately is by Yancey, a link below. I guess I would call his music, I'm not the best at describing music, but like 80s synth stuff. He has some albums and songs you can check out on his YouTube video. These are free. I liked Chevy Chase and Millie on Killer Kabu. Also, Babes from Bangladesh. He's got some good stuff. Check him out. An actual right-wing video game that you can purchase, and it's a fully complete game. The Great Rebellion. Play it if you haven't. I'm just saying, boys, I'm not sure if there's a bigger right-wing video game that's out there. I think the biggest is The Great Rebellion. Right now on Steam, it doesn't have 500 reviews. It has like 490 from last time I checked. You know, like, where's the support, man? Where's the support? Did those guys make $600,000? I don't think they did, but they have a game that you can buy and play and beat, but where's the fucking support? And I do review indie games when they come out, and I'm just trying to do my part a little bit, you know. I'm waiting on a few others to come out. I thought a few more indie games would have been out by now, but I think they've been delayed a little bit. Hopefully they're coming out within the next few months so that I can play and review them. But I think people just need to be a little more active. They need to care a little more. They need to support artists and creatives, and they need to support people that are actually doing shit and are healthy for the movement, not faggots like Grummz. You're supporting a guy who went by Pretty Little Girl 16. I'm just saying, that's who you're defending. That's who you're defending. That's who you're defending.
Put your fucking mouth on the curb.
Go on, man.
Put it on the curb right now! That's it.
Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not joining the leftist, but I don't want to be anywhere near any movement that unironically has some guy like Grummz in it, and this is someone that we should look up to. This is insane and pathetic. A game you could check out, it's a 2D platformer. I think it's called a Troid Mania or something like that, but this was Super Dino Story made by Dino Storm. I did have some issues with the game, but again, this is an actual indie developer who made a real game that you can buy and play, and there's a lot of heart in it. And yeah, I had some complaints here and there, but overall, was it worth checking out? Yes, it was. He doesn't have a lot of reviews on Steam. It's like 7. So maybe instead of owning the libs, people could play and review right-wing indie games, right? That's something that you could do instead of owning the fucking libs, right? But you could check his game out. You could also subscribe to him and his channel. He's working on this upcoming game called The Westman. He's doing like a devlog on his channel. He already has one complete game under his belt. He's working on another one. You can check out his channel. Show him some support. Yeah, man, like why is Grummz the guy we have to rally behind? That's not crazy to anyone else. That's not like utterly bizarre and so fucked up that this is our boy. Another guy, if you're looking to read something and you want something really edgy and in your face and extreme, you could check out Hate Spree. This is by King Cringe. This is free on his Substack. I'll have a link to this below. Also, recently he did a podcast episode where he went over Behead All Satans. It's a book I also reviewed on my channel, but you can check that out too if you want to listen to a podcast with him, or check out Hate Spree and Hate Spree 2. Unlike Amber, this is real and complete, and you can actually finish it. Wow, shocking, I know. Why is the bar so fucking low? Why is it so fucking low? Grummz owns the libs. Therefore, I will defend any and all actions he takes. Don't have too many videos that would be in line with this one, but you could check out Creative Writing 101. that I put out a little while ago. That was about the publishing industry and the lack of men's fiction and who's to blame. And I will shill myself and my cultural drive-bys. I did a cultural drive-by on Brandon Sanderson. Huge fan of the channel. Brandon Sanderson, this is his favorite channel. Also, Daniel Green. Daniel Green said to me personally that when he was getting over those false rape accusations made against him, reading my book, Dual Han Sora, was huge in helping him get over that emotional hump. So just keep that in mind. Daniel Green personally endorsed my writing. And of course, you can check out my books for free on my Substack. That's going to be it. Hopefully I trim out a lot of my repetition and some of my ranting, but my God, there's so much fucking cope and gayness coming from the right wing over this. If none of Mark Kern's actions bother you and his scammy, grifty, bullshit demo doesn't bother you, go fuck yourself. I'm White Pill Media. Thank you for listening. That's going to be it from me.